This is Sara with Posh Pooch Designs, and today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make a party hat to celebrate your dog or your cat's birthday. Now this is an adjustable pattern and I'll show you how to adjust it when we get there. It's made in a cone, straight down, they're all made the same, and the adjustment is made when we do the ear holes. The first thing that you need to do is to measure your dog or your cat's head. One of the first things that you need to do before starting your pattern is to measure your dog or your pet's head. Now it's very important that when you measure, you go around the ears and measure around the head. All right, so we're going to go around Rosie's ears, measure around the head like this, because the hat sits around the ears. Let me show you. Here's Rosie's hat. Whoops! And her ears go through the holes, and we're measuring this portion all the way around the hat. That's a good girl, Rosie. Once you have measured your dog or your cat or whoever's going to wear this head, then you'll have those measurements to know how big to make the portion that goes around their ears. And we'll get to that in just a second. I will show you how to do that. We're going to be working with our H-hook today, 5mm. And I'm just going to be using these two colors, worsted weight number 4 yarns. These are both some Red Heart Super Saver that I just had on hand. And so I'm going to be using those colors. We're going to be making one similar to this one. This one is the plain one. It just has, I used some chunky yarn and made a pom-pom, and I used some chunky yarn to make the ties. This one, we made 3 pom-poms, and we made a ruffle edge. So you can do both styles off the same pattern. And this is a free pattern on my blog, and I'll put that blog links down below in the notes underneath the video. So if you want to make one of these, grab you some worsted weight number 4 yarns. It doesn't take very much. And your H-hook, you're also going to need a needle for weaving in those ends. And you're going to need a sharp pair of scissors for making pom-poms. So let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is start with a slip knot. And then we're going to chain 5. We're going to be placing 4 double crochets in the 4th chain from the hook. The first 3 chains will count as 1 double crochet. So we're going to place 4 more double crochets in that 4th chain from the hook. And just in case you're not sure what a double crochet is, you yarn over, go in that stitch or chain, and pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on your chain or on your hook. Yarn over, go through the first 2, and yarn over and go through the second 2. And that's a double crochet. All right, so here's our chain. 3 counts as our first double crochet, and then we have 1, 2, 3. So I need to do 1 more. And then we're going to join to the top of that chain 3 with a slip stitch. So we're going to go right in there and make a slip stitch and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. The top of our hat is a point like this one, and we only have 5 stitches in the first row. The next row, we want to have 7 stitches. So what we're going to do is the first chain counts as a double crochet. Then we're going to double crochet in the next stitch. That's 2. Then we're going to place 2 double crochets in the next stitch. 3, 4, then the next double crochet, and then 2 double crochets in that last stitch. And that's going to give us a total of 7 double crochets for row 2. And then once again, the top of the chain 3, we're going to join, there we go, with a slip stitch and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. You can see our little cone shape is starting to form. So in row 3, we want to increase from 7 to 10. So what we're going to do is we're going to place 1 double crochet in the next stitch. Then we'll place 2 double crochets in the next stitch. 1, 2, and then we'll repeat that. 1 double crochet in the next, and 2 double crochets in the next. 1 and, oops, 2. All right, and then we'll do that again. 1 double crochet in the next, and 2 double crochets in the next. 1 and 2. So we went from 5 double crochets, 7 double crochets, and now we have 10 double crochets. Again, we're going to join to the top of that chain 3. There we go, with a slip stitch and chain 3. Now for row 4, we're going to place 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and then we'll place 2 double crochets in the next stitch. 1, 2, and then we'll repeat that again. 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, and then we'll just place 1 double crochet in those last 2 stitches. 1, 2, and then we'll join to the top of that chain 3. And now we went from having 10 double crochets to having 12. Now it's a good idea to take a second and to count your stitches to make sure you've got the right amount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's easy to get off when you're increasing, so it's a good idea just to take a second and count your stitches. So for the 5th, 6th, and 7th row, we're going to stitch exactly like we did in the 4th row, continuing to increase. So we're going to stitch 3 double crochets and then 2 together, 3 double crochets and then 2 double crochets in the same stitch for the next 3 rows. And this is going to give us a nice gradual increase. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to put 2 double crochets in the same double crochet like we did on row 4. And then we'll stitch 1 double crochet in the next 3 double crochets. And then 2 double crochets in the next. 1 and 2. And we'll do the same thing, 1 double crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, 3. And on this row, we're going to end up putting 2 double crochets in that last double crochet. So 1, there we go, 2. And we went from row 4, we had 12 double crochets, to row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're going to have let's see, we went from 12 to 15 double crochets. And we're going to do the same thing in the next row. We're going to chain 3. We're going to place 1 double crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, 3, 2 double crochets in the next 1 and 2, and then 1 double crochet in the next 3. And we're going to do this for this row and the next row. 3 double crochets, 2 together, 3 double crochets, 2 together. And that will bring us up to row 7. At row 7, you should have 22 double crochets. And we just have one more row of increase. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to do the same thing. 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then 2 double crochets in the next. 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches, and 2 double crochets in the next. And at the end of row 8, you should have 27 double crochets. And repeat this all the way around this row. 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches and 2 double crochets in the next. So this is what your party hat looks like after our 8 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're not going to put any more increases on our hat. If you're making this for a bigger dog or a bigger cat or a goat or an animal that's bigger, or like a bulldog or a pug that has a bigger head, if you want it to stand taller, you can add as many rows of 1 double crochet in each double crochet around if you want to, and you want your hat to stand up a little bit taller. This is the row where we're going to be adding the ear holes, and where that measurement that you took with your dog head is very important, or your cat's head. Now, if you make this pattern according to the pattern that I have written and what we're going to do today, it will fit about an 8 to 15 pound dog. And remember, yarn is very stretchy and it will stretch a lot, so you want the hat to fit just a little bit snug. So we've chained 3. The next thing we're going to do is place 1 double crochet in the next 2 double crochets. There's 1 and 2. And now we're going to make our first ear hole. So what we're going to do is chain 15 chains. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, now this is where you would adjust, because that's what makes the band bigger if you have a bigger head. If you have a tiny dog and you want small ear holes, you'll need to chain less, and that amount is totally up to you and what you want and how you want your dog hat to fit. All right, so now we're going to skip the next 6 stitches. So this is where we stitched, and we're going to skip the next 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to stitch in that next stitch, and we're going to join with a double crochet. So we're going to yarn over, go right in that double crochet, and stitch a double crochet. So there's our first ear hole made. The next thing we need to do is stitch 8 more double crochets. Whoops, missed my stitch. All right, let's count. Make sure we have a total of 9 because we joined with our first double crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the last one is 9. And then we're going to do the same thing for the ear hole on this side that we did like this. So we're going to chain 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. And then we're going to skip the next 6 stitches. So here's where we did our last stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's going to leave us just 3 stitches to stitch in. 1, 2, 3. And this is the back of the hat because it is narrow opposed to the front of the hat that is wider. Okay, so now we're going to join to the top of our chain 3. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the sizing. I'm going to pull that loop up so we don't lose it. So here's the front of our hat. And you can see how wide it is here. And this is the portion that goes around your dog's hat. Or I'm sorry, around your dog's head. And you need to make sure that this fits your dog's head before you do the next row, because we're going to do a row of double crochets and then a row of singles in order to make it a little bit stable to stay on your dog's head. But if this is too small or too big, it's not going to stay put. So it's a good idea just to get your tape measure out, measure around, make sure it's going to fit. And keep in mind, yarn is stretchy. All right, so the next row, we're going to chain 3 and we're going to place 1 double crochet in each double crochet and also in each chain. And this is going to give us the band. Let me grab this other one again. This band here that goes around our dog's head. So place 1 double crochet in each double crochet and each chain around this whole row, and then we will join back to that first double crochet. And then when we get to that point, I'm going to show you how to either make it plain or how to make it with a ruffle. I stitched 1 double crochet in each double crochet and each chain around, and then I joined back to that first chain 3, and I went ahead and I just cut my yarn. I'm going to change colors. You do not have to. And there are 2 ways that you can do this hat. You can just add a row of single crochet around the bottom. We join in my new color. And you would just single crochet in each of the double crochets around. Just like that, the way this one's done. And then join back and tie off. But I'm going to show you how to do the ruffle. So to add the ruffle, I'm going to change colors like I did with the single crochet, only I'm going to chain 3 instead of 1. Then I'm going to double crochet in that same stitch and chain 1. And we'll do this all the way around the edge of the hat. 2 double crochets, chain 1 in each stitch. 2 double crochets, chain 1. Whoops, I got a little knot. There we go. 2 double crochets, chain 1. You can already see that ruffle starting to form a little bit. And this, of course, is what it ends up looking like. And the party hat is just so much fun having a little ruffle around the bottom. So you just place 2 double crochets, chain 1 in each double crochet around the hat, and you'll do that all the way around. Join back to that first double crochet. I'm going to finish putting the ruffle on this hat, and then I'm going to show you how to add the pom-poms and the ties. Alright, so to finish up our hat, it's going to need some ties and a pom-pom. And I finished this ruffle row joined to the top of our chain 3 with a slip stitch, and then went ahead and tidied up the back with my needle and weaved in those ends. Now, to make the tie, I've already added 1. There are 2 ways that you can do this. On this one, I just used some big thick yarn and just tied it on and made 2 ties. But if you want to make a chain, you just make a chain, leave yourself a little bit to work with, so you're going to attach that to your hat, and then you just chain. Keep in mind that you don't want it to be very long. I usually chain about 20 because you don't want it to get caught in your puppy's toenails or in their teeth or to be a nuisance in their way. You really just need it long enough to keep it on their head. So once I've chained about 20, 25, I tie that off and I tie that in a knot. And that's just going to keep that chain from undoing itself. My knot went down a ways. I'm making another one. It did it again. Let's see if I can make another knot without it going all the way down there. Alright, we'll hang on to that. There we go. There's a nice knot. We'll just clip that off. We just want it not to come unraveled. And then you're going to take your hat and you're going to find the center underneath, and you're going to hook it into a couple of these double crochet loops here. Let me put my hook in here so you can see. There we go. Just like that on the back side. You don't want it to come all the way through, just the underneath side of the hat. Pull your string through and then just tie a couple of knots. Now remember, this isn't used to pull it on their head or to drag along or anything like that. It needs to stay tight. And I usually tie a couple of knots, and then I take this end and I go ahead and I just do like a slip stitch and a chain, and then I tie it again just to make it a little bit more secure. There we go. Now when I put this on my dog, if you notice when I slip this on Rosie, I already have it pre-tied to her neck size, and it's the same thing with Maximo's hat. I have it pre-tied to his neck size, and I don't have it tied in a bow. I just have it tied in a little knot. And that's what I would do. Here's the front. And that's what I would do. I would just take it, I would measure it or hold it onto your dog's head and just tie it in a little knot. And then all you have to do when they go to wear it is slip it on over their head. The last thing we need to do on here, of course, is to make some pom-poms. And I've already added 2. I'm going to make another pink one. Let me find the end of my yarn here. I'll just clip it. Alright, so what I do to make these tiny pom-poms is you're going to need a nice sharp pair of scissors. And I just take my fingers, and I use 3 of them. And I just wrap it around like this 10 or 12 times. Like that. I just set it down. Clip that. Then I get myself another nice long piece of string. Wrap it around those loops and tie a knot nice and tight. And I usually hold it and tie another knot. Nice and tight. Don't pull so hard you break your yarn, but you want to make sure it's nice and tight. And I always put 3 knots if I can. Alright, and then you're going to take your scissors and you're just going to cut those loops first. And it's a little crazy, isn't it? So what I do is I kind of push it down with my hand, hold it tight, and then I just cut all those crazy strings off. And then I give it a look and see if there's any, like there's a couple that are longer. Give it a good shake. Looks like I have a mess to clean up. And now I want to attach this to the front. And the way I do that is I use my hook. And when I go up, I go inside a double crochet. And I pull one of those strings to the inside of the hat. Like this. And then I go in the double crochet next to it. And that's because if you put it through a hole, it's just going to slide through the hole. You want it to stay pretty sturdy. So here's the inside of the hat. And I do a knot like this. And I do that first, and then I'll do 2 more knots. You know, I always tie 3 knots. Like that, and then just clip that string. And then that's going to stay put. So this is our birthday or party dog hat that can be made in several different styles with different options and will work for just about any size dog or cat.